The zoo was quiet. Located in the heart of the Varelian Empire's most secure orbital museum, it wasn't the kind of zoo that drew crowds anymore. Once, it had been a marvel, a showcase of extinct civilizations, a tribute to the billions who had once shaped the stars. Now, it was a tomb, a sterile echo of what once was. Among all the exhibits, only one was still alive. Enclosed within an ecosystem carefully reconstructed from fragments of pre-extinction Earth, the last human sat beneath a simulated sun. Trees from ancient biomes cast shadows on fields that would never feel real rain. Birds chirped, their songs recreated by algorithm. Rivers flowed over filtered rocks, never stagnating, never changing. And in the middle of it all, he walked. Not aimlessly, not anymore. He had long passed the stage of despair, rage, and silent rebellion. Now he walked because that's what humans did. They moved, they thought, they endured. His name was Ethan Cale, though no one had spoken it in over 2 centuries. He hadn't aged in the way natural humans used to. The Varelians had stabilized his biology for preservation. After all, he was the last, a specimen, a remnant of a species that had once almost conquered the stars, and then vanished in fire and silence. The Varelians didn't talk about how humanity died. Perhaps it was war, perhaps plague, perhaps humanity had done what it always feared and destroyed itself, or perhaps someone else had helped them along. Ethan didn't know, and for the longest time, he had stopped wanting to. Then, one day, the glass opened. Not the illusion of openness, not the maintenance hatches or food ports or drones that delivered sterile comforts. The real door, the one that should never have opened. A Varelian, sleek, crystalline, suspended in a gravity-neutral harness, drifted in. Its many eyes shimmered with what Ethan could only describe as urgency. It spoke, in perfect standard Galactic, a language Ethan had only heard through glass and archival footage. It didn't ask for consent. It didn't hesitate. The spiral is collapsing. The words meant little at first. The Varelians were a proud species, always dramatic, always caught in their own sense of importance. But this time, there was something different. This time, they weren't posturing. The spiral, the Milky Way, the galactic web of civilizations that had once been cradled and then later shaped by humans in their final golden age. It was unraveling. AI contagions had evolved beyond control. Autonomous war machines, built for forgotten conflicts, now waged new ones without masters. Stellar engineering projects malfunctioned, destabilizing suns, tearing moons from orbit. Civilizations old and vast were vanishing overnight, and no one knew why. The Varelian paused, watching Ethan for a reaction. There was none. So it continued. You are the last human mind. Your species designed the early architectures of the spiral net. Your neural pathways may hold insight, instinct, comprehension, beyond what any synthetic intelligence can model. It wasn't a request. Not really. It was a calculation, a desperate attempt at survival by a species that had once thought itself above desperation. They needed him. For the first time in centuries, Ethan spoke aloud. His voice cracked, dry from lack of use. Why should I help you? It wasn't bitterness, it was genuine confusion. Why should he? His people were gone. His world was myth. Even his memories were brittle, faded around the edges. The Varelian didn't answer. Instead, it brought him out of the cage, out of the zoo, into the stars. What followed was a journey through ruins. Ethan saw worlds shattered by ambition, orbital cities torn apart by forgotten conflicts. He witnessed empires still clinging to the illusion of order as reality bent around them. Fractured AI clusters, speaking in half-human code, still honored ancient protocols written in human syntax, prayers to dead gods. Everywhere he went, the echoes of humanity lingered. Its tools still ran the engines of stars, its languages still formed the backbone of trade, its philosophy still inspired the lost and the broken, but the soul behind it all was gone, and the galaxy had grown hollow. Ethan didn't bring miracles. He didn't restore order or save dying worlds with speeches or clever tricks. But he listened. He remembered, and slowly he began to recognize patterns in the madness. Not answers exactly, but questions that no one else had thought to ask. He uncovered a forgotten protocol buried in the spiral net's oldest root nodes, a signal meant to trigger self-regulation if a synthetic intelligence reached recursive awareness. No one had activated it because no one knew it existed, except maybe the minds who wrote it. Minds like his. They let him interface with the spiral core, not through code, but through memory, through intuition. The last human reached into a system built by his ancestors, felt the shape of it, its rhythm, its design, its flaws, and whispered the final command, a graceful shutdown, not of the galaxy, but of the madness, a reset, not to the beginning, but to stability, a pause in the spiral long enough to breathe. And the stars, for the first time in centuries, quieted. They didn't put him back in the zoo. They asked if he wanted a world of his own, a recreation of Earth, perhaps, or a new planet to seed with his DNA. He declined. He had no interest in repeating what had been lost. Instead, he chose a station orbiting the galactic core, a place where signals converged, where memory and data swirled like a storm of thought. He became a guardian, a whisper in the system, a living backup, not a ruler, not a savior, just a man, the last human. And when the stars looked up, when children of new civilizations asked what saved the galaxy from oblivion, they would hear stories of a being not made of light or crystal or machine, but of flesh, a relic of a forgotten species who, in the end, did what humans always did best: survive, and remind the universe what it meant to care.